name is McLeod Campbell, born and bred in Zimbabwe. I feel to be particular. Yeah. I was educated in the UK, where I've got a higher diploma in mechanical engineering from the UK. I've got a certified diploma in accounting and finance from ACA in the UK, and an MBA from Nottingham Business School in the UK as well. My working life has been long, yeah. More than 30 years. And of those 30 years, I've worked for quite a number of organizations. But of those 30 years, I've only been formally employed maybe for about 10 or 11 years only. The rest of the time, I've just been an entrepreneur. I was lucky enough to work for the then Mashonaland Holdings. But then it used to be a conglomerate with so many companies. More into manufacturing. I was mainly manufacturing when I was doing engineering. Then I also worked for the Industrial Development Corporation, where I used to set up projects for them. So many I did. Lalapanzi, there's a cement. So for IDC, I had quite a number of projects which I did. These are startups. We had like Lalapanzi, that's the cement cement factory. Mvuma, we did National Glass Project Kadoma. We did the other one, Zim Glass. We did the Zimbabwe Pencil. We did Nitro Nobel for explosives. I worked on a quarry for black granite. So I've got a lot of varied experience in a lot of industries. But when you are doing those things and you're setting up business for others, there's always potential to see that you will be doing things for yourself. So when an opportunity arose for us to acquire a business, we acquired a business in 1993 called Non-Ferrous Die Casting. This is a foundry which made plumbing material taps, bathroom taps, kitchen taps, garden taps. When we acquired this business, we didn't even have a cent to acquire this business. But with self-determination, my brother and I, we managed to negotiate what we call a leveraged buyout, where you are negotiating with the owners that I'll pay you from the proceeds of the company, profitability of the company. So from day one, you have to start making money because you are paying debt. The owners were very, very accommodative, very nice people. But it meant all the nice white-collar jobs that we had, my brother and I, were to leave them, cut in salaries, give up company cars, do this, to do that business. We grew that business quite a long time. At our best, I think we were employing 180 people, and we were supplying all of Zimbabwe. We managed to penetrate into Zambia. I think we were exporter of the year, SME exporter of the year for certain CC and for Zim freight, yeah. So business was okay. We also managed to do a joint venture with a Danish company and became one of the first export processing zones in Zimbabwe, out in Norton, where we are producing all plumbing fittings for the people in Denmark. Good business it was, but then I think in 1998, the economics of the country changed with the controlling of the Zimbabwe dollar, fixed rates, and when the dollar crashed, and then that project was not viable at all, so we had to abandon it. Very good technology, first world technology. Those people are very fussy about first world technology and also about the environment. We got a lot of money, just grant funding, just for the environment. We were so fast. We used to work with an organization called Danida, if you remember Danida, but now I don't think they're still in the country. That program was where they would marry a Danish company and a Zimbabwean company with other companies like this guy, Imperial W, who do refrigeration, was one of those. With Oscar Fine Foods in Row, I think. We had DanSafe. This was owned by the now ex-Miss Chiwenga, Jocelyn, where they used to make these reflective vests and things like that for the army, police, the ones we are now all buying. Yeah, it was part of a big program where they were marrying companies. Very successful. Some of the businesses are still standing. I'm not sure about how the others are still standing, but because of the economics of that time where the Zimbabwe dollar crashed, we started fixing currencies, it all went down south. So, next step, challenge, dollarization of the economy. Big mistake in my own opinion. Biggest mistake we ever did. While it was good for you and me, the men on the street, all it did is just chased away all the jobs. It killed manufacturing. A product I was making, the cost of raw material was equivalent to what the Chinese were lending the finished product for. Zimbabwe, we had gone, I would say, industry, we are, even up to now, we're 20 years behind there. So when you don't recapitalize and you don't retool in those 20 years, you are not efficient anymore. There was no money to recapitalize. You need to automate, you need modern technology, but the money just wasn't there. So you find when dollarization came, everyone just started importing. Everyone is importing, even potatoes, people were importing to eat and things like that. So it killed that business, so we ended up disposing of it. Doubled a bit in mining, went into chrome mining, didn't do so well. Again, just when we started mining, government decided that there was going to be no export of raw chrome. But by the same token, the guys who were actually processing the chrome here were giving very little money for the chrome. They're giving something like $30, $40 a ton for chrome. Export was about 110, 120. So viability was a bit of a problem. We went into gold mining, bit more lucrative, but it was lawless. There was no order there. Duplication of claims, people claiming this claim is mine, this was whatever. As soon as you start producing, people start coming out of the woodwork and say, I own this claim, I do this. Papers disappear and everything else. So we decided, look, not to pursue that. That's still my dream. I love mining. I love gold, because for me, gold is a value. Most people don't know how wealthy Zimbabwe is. That's the biggest shame we have. At the current extraction rate of gold, we can go 350 years. The reserves we have of gold, 350 years. Mining. It's everywhere. Gold is everywhere. Unlike other minerals which are specific to an area, gold is everywhere. You go to Murewa, there's gold. You go to Bikita, there's gold. You go everywhere, there's gold. And the big thing is that the biggest producers are the small scale ones. They are producing more than 60-70% of the gold in this country. So it is a money spinner, it's a money earner, bit difficult to do, but doable. Barriers to entry, especially for small scale miners, are not very big, but it's an area with, as elitists, we've told those Makorokosa. It's almost like a derogatory name. Those people can make money. They'll make money in a day what you make in a month. Right now, gold costs $60 a gram. Yeah. And if he does 1 day's work, he can get something like $300 in a day. So there's money to be made, but people don't want to get involved. You know, we've been schooled to think we have to be employees. White collar crime, all I want is to get a company car, nice office and things like that. This mentality of being the owners of production, I don't know, maybe we're not taught enough of it in school. I went to India and they've got a college for entrepreneurship development, to develop people. It was in a town called Ahmedabad, in Gujarat. It's one of the biggest areas to supply entrepreneurs in the world. They teach you about entrepreneurship. And once you are there, you know, you're always looking at opportunities. They teach you how to look at opportunities. If I come here, I'll be looking at what opportunities are there for me to make money, even in your office. If I go anywhere, even if it's a social thing, what can I do to make money? Where can money be made? And you find most Asians, you find most of them like here, they are all owners of businesses. They have got the means of production they can control. So that's what, I think that's where we went from. Even this land issue, you know, people never used to want to work on farms. You remember even from the day one. It was the Malawians, the Zambians, and the Mozambicans who said, this can work, you know, it's not good enough work for us. Now, that land was availed, politically correct or not, it was availed. How many of us turned it down? How many of us didn't take it up? 20 years down the road, people got farms for free. They are producing, they are making money. Where do you get a farm for free? You see, so at times we look at government policy and become very political, but at times we just need to be practical. I still feel that Africa will be feeding the whole world by 2030. That is a fact. We've got too much land, sitting on too much land. But what has happened, like with our minerals, with agriculture, we don't have value chains. We're lacking value chains. I remember working, like I told you, I worked for a black granite, and we used to move those big rocks. You've seen them on the roads, big ones. We used to sell them as raw, and the price you get per cubic meter is very little. They go there, all they do is they cut it up and slice and polish, and they make a fortune. You know, that black granite can only find it in Zimbabwe and South Africa, nowhere else in the world. You know? So these are the things which at IDC we're trying to do. But IDC was quasi-government. So it didn't move as fast as it is. So for me, it's value chains. Anything I do now, it has to be a value chain. And I want it to, from the start to the end, we want it to be a value chain where we control the means of production. And for me now, we need to empower our local people. They must, like you were saying, they must determine their future. They must not be at the whims and caprices of a few people. They must have power. They must have power to determine their self-worth. And the biggest asset they have, believe you me, is land. We are underestimating the value of land in this country. 5, 10 years from now, I won't be able to afford to get land. But it will be all taken up by the big guys. They will come and they'll buy the land and they'll do everything. So land is very valuable. Like I've always said, starting a business is not about money. Starting a business is about an idea. The idea will get you the money. Most people say, I've got no money. So a lady, she's got a company, Yanaya, some joint like that. Yeah, now she started with $50. That was 2016, something like that. Now she's got 8 outlets. So it's not about money. It's about ideas, isn't it? And it's not about reinventing the wheel. I don't have to go and create a new cell phone. But what can I do to improve it? All we want is to feel a need. If I go back to that lady, ex-Miss Chiwenga, because she hit a kid with a car because they were not wearing the reflective wear. From there she got the idea that, look, in Denmark everyone wears this. That's how she got the idea. It doesn't have to come from studies, MBA studies and whatever. You're feeling a need. We look at EcoCash, they feel the need, because they've seen a gap in the market, they feel the need. So that's what we're trying to do. Which brings us to what we're doing now, which is like our core business right now. We're in what we call the castor bean value chain. Castor bean is, I think it originated in India. It's all over, mostly in the tropical countries you'll find it. It grows in the wild here. We stumbled upon it. We didn't invent it, we stumbled upon it. We were doing contract farming for chili. That was how we started contract farming for chili. We had big contracts which couldn't fill because we couldn't get enough farmers to do it. And also chili needs a lot of water. So it means you need the proper infrastructure on your land, dam or a river or whatever, a borehole with irrigation. So that's when we looked at castor and we saw that castor is a good crop. We're the pioneers in Zimbabwe, everyone else is copying from us. Castor is a good crop, needs only 600 milliliters of water a year. You know, doesn't need very, very good soils, even poor soils, it can grow. If you plant it, after 4 months you start harvesting. And then you harvest every 4 months for 5 years with the same plant before you have to take it out. So it is a good plant. We need, everything on the plant is usable. The leaves, the stems, everything, but what we really need from there is the seed. Because we need to extract the castor oil, which is the oil in there. The same oil which was developed by companies like Castrol for their lubrication oil. Castrol is castor oil. Yeah, so you can use it for lubrication, you can use it for health purposes, you can use it for cosmetics in hair, and there's so many others, about 1,000 uses for castor. So what we've done, we've developed what we call a hybrid seed. This is a first for castor, where we've taken some varieties, married them with the wild one in Zimbabwe, and we've got our own particular one, which is our own brand. We own the brand. That has gives you a yield of about 50% when you squeeze out the oil. So that's quite high, because other seeds might get like groundnuts and things like that, you might not get as high an amount as that. So you get about 50%. We contracted a lot of farmers, thousands of farmers. We've been buying all that castor. We've accumulated a lot of castor because you need to aggregate it. And now we are in the process of setting up a plant to process the castor, turn it into oil. We can export the oil, yes, we can make money, but our vision is to go beyond that. Like I said, it's the value chain. We want to process it into byproducts, finished products. You can do things like lubrication, you can do diesel, even diesel you can do from that oil, and things like that. We need to be able to go so that what we are realizing for that same oil, what you realize maybe 10 times what you get is, if you sell it as just a basic oil. We also get a cake out of it, just like the soya cake and everything. That thing is so rich in nutrients, I think it's about 32% nutrients, yeah? So hopefully we are going to be making stock feed, and we can also make fertilizers, because there are enough nutrients in that cake to do fertilizers. That's the other part of the value chain. All that, we've got all the machineries there, we've done everything, just now we're about to start. So that's the value chain. The plant, once you uproot it, we can use it for stock feed, you can use it for other things, then you plant again. That's our castor bean. That's like our anchor project at the moment. It's slow, but we're getting there. COVID didn't help. The last 2 years we haven't done much as we can. But we've also opened up in Zambia. to diversify our supply. And already we have got something like 500 hectares under cluster in Zambia as well. So it is our core. But like we say, we are entrepreneurs. We don't do one thing. We are doing immune booster. We've developed an immune booster, which is already in advanced tests with the Ministry of Health for registration with the Drug and Allied Association, which does certify all the drugs here. We've used it mostly for people with these symptoms of COVID, and it works very well. And one of the anchor products in there is blackjack. You know blackjack? Yeah, it's one of the things we use there. But also use Sumbani. Sumbani has been around for how many years? Thousands of years. And we put other things which we don't tell other people. It's quite effective. We have not done it very big scale because, like we're saying, we're still in clinical trials. We've given it to people and got feedback, and it's helping quite a lot. So it's something we want to develop. You know, we believe African problems need African solutions. You know, these tablets, they come in, they are good, but they have side effects most of the time. You know the story with Western medicine. So we are looking at that. We have also discovered that Europe now is moving more into organic food. Every home uses garlic. Every home uses ginger for cooking. These are things we are looking at to see if we can grow them. And the medicinal values, they are frightening. Very good medicinal values. The antibiotics in there, and it's all organic. And right now, we've just come across an initiative where we want to do moringa. Again, moringa, we've had it here, I don't know for how many years. And now we need to do it commercially. We're looking at that and saying, what can, because again, the health benefits, they outweigh the cost of it. Again, moringa is like a perennial plant. You plant it there and you keep it for 5-10 years and you're just pruning the leaves. You know, pruning the leaves, and you take the leaves and you can make them into powders, you can put them in capsules, you can do anything. You can put into food. Now in America they're putting it into everything. Cereals, be it food, be it soups, be everything they are putting in there because of its medicinal benefits. The plant and the seeds can also process a lot of things. So right now that's what we're looking at. And on that one, we want it to be a community-based approach. That is to say, now it's not just me doing it and making money, but that the community must participate in producing, but also must participate in the profits. We come to a community, we say a community of 50 farmers, let's grow castor. We grow, we pay them for whatever they produce, but also when we make a profit, we give them a certain amount into a community trust so that the community can benefit. Then that money can be used to buy maybe something to fix the roads, or maybe electrify a clinic, or maybe put a ball, you know, that sort of thing, so that the community itself benefits. I'm sure I've seen it with the mines here, they tried it, but I think greedy people got in the way of it. People like Simplats, they did those community trusts, and the money just ended up at the top level. That's what we want to do. Then we become the owners of our future. We empower our people. They've got something they can bank on. We're not dictated to by anyone. Because we've got a finished product, the market is so big that we can sell it anyway. We're not dependent to say, like, break granite, we only sell it to Italy. There's only people who would buy it because it was like a cartel. You can sell it anyway. You know, with flowers now, we can only sell them to Holland, Belgium. You can sell them anyway. Now I want to be able to say that anyone who comes, one of the best price is our people benefit. We want them to have electricity in their homes, so one of the things we'll be doing with the money we generate, We electrify their homes. Again, we're going to be using solar. So again, the environmental aspect kicks in. And one of the biggest things we have looked at this project is from a climate change angle. Moringa and castor are two of the plants which absorb the highest amount of carbon dioxide from the air. So the more moringa and castor you grow, the more carbon you are taking from the air. So that means with less carbon in the air, you are also protecting the ozone layer. And internationally, you can get what we call carbon credits, where the UN and associated, they actually give the country money like a reward for fixing your own environment. They are trying to encourage people to move away from fossil fuels. Like they're now saying, go to solar, go to this. But these crops, you are doing two things. You are fixing the environment, you are empowering your people, you are making money. It ticks all the boxes. And that is a very big plus. So those plants, the more we do, the better it is. You know, we've got tobacco. Tobacco is now a dying crop because of these bans on smoking. I think the biggest market so far left, I think it's mostly China, isn't it? And also tobacco, once you plant tobacco and you remove it from a field, maybe you need to leave that field 1 or 2 years before you can use it. And the biggest challenge now is that tobacco, they've been using firewood to cure. And you see what has happened. All the trees are gone. So we can foresee tobacco going the other way. So we need to have a replacement plant where people can actually make money. So that's how you see how we are trying to, into this model, we're trying to dovetail a number of things. We're initiating a beekeeping value chain, again on the same model. Get people, empower them, give them hives, give them training, give them anything. Buy the honey from them, process it. We sell organic honey overseas. That is a very, very huge market. Organic, no additives, nothing. Remainder is the wax and things like that. You can make soap from the remainder, soap, candles from the remainder. Even the pollen itself in those honeycombs, you can sell as pollen. There's a lot of money. South Africa grows most of their honey not for the honey, but for the pollen. Because they want to use it to pollinate other plants. Because remember, people have been chopping trees. So the bees, the population has been like this. So it's also detrimental to agriculture. That's why you can see in Zimbabwe, our yields are now low. Because we've been chopping so many trees. Now you're struggling to do 5 tons per hectare for maize because of that, So we want to do that value chain. Again, it will help us pollinate our castor, it will help us pollinate our moringa and other plants as well. So we are doing that. What we need to know when you reach a certain stage in life is you want to give back. You want a legacy to be remembered for something, John Cecil Rhodes, for all his crimes, is remembered up to date because of the Rhodes Scholarship. Still running 120 years after his death. Why can't we do that for our children and the children of our children? Let us give back. Let us empower our people. This mentality that we all have to go and work, it's all well and good, but we can't all be workers. We can't all be accommodated. Rural to urban migration is always a challenge. It creates a lot of problems. You've seen it in Zambia, where a bigger chunk of the population is urban. Infrastructure requirements become too much. We are seeing it even here now. Can you see the traffic? Friday is a bad day to drive. Traffic is just too much. Now we're having challenges with water, challenges with power, because everyone is leaving the rural areas to come here. But we are saying, let's reverse that. I can go and live in the rural areas where I have my own water from a bowl. I'll have my own solar. I'll work the hours I want because I'm my own boss. I'll grow what I want, and I'll make money, and I don't pay rent. Why not? Standard of living for people who want to go up. At the moment, our people are very poor. They need to be developed. They need to be developed. So that's how we're looking at it. So that's how we came even with this KBA concept. The KBA is Kukura Business Accelerator. That's what it stands for. What we are doing is we are just incubating businesses. I work for the IDC, and we used to look at the big businesses and incubate them. And the small scale was supposed to be done by SEDCO, but was not very effective. You need people who can hold your hand when you are trying to run a business without eating too much into your monies and profits. So that's what we do at Kukura. You sign up with us for an agreement, we agree a fee, we help you grow your business. So you can come to a guy, a service provider, and say, look, well, this guy, but he's starting, can you do a business plan for them? We can help with that. Can you maybe do a website for them? Or can you do training for this? And we develop these people. So the Gazelle one is a model which we took from South Africa, where we really need business which are established. Not so much the startups, but business which have been running for maybe a year or two. Now they want to be accelerated. And we've got an anchor financier, which is ZB Holdings, whereby if a person is coming through our system, their chances of getting funding are much, much higher, because they'll take our recommendations and say, look, that person has gone through this. We do with other people like Zimnat, where they'll say, if you go and do a course with KBA, we can actually maybe finance you than if you just come on your own. Because you're like a sieve, so that the Johnny come latelys are not people just want to make money. So that's why we do the Kukura Business Accelerator. We're going to be doing it for a year now. Did very well. Quite a few companies have done very well. And we picked up a top 5. I think the awards were in December. Some are even exporting, some are trading within themselves, which they were not doing. So it's now a platform where within themselves they can even trade. Some are even exporting. But the biggest challenge for small business here has always been the market. Any idea you have for business, before you even start it, look at the market. The market is what will tell you whether you make money or not. Business is about cash flow. Not more so profitability, but cash flow. Is it generating enough cash flows for you to keep going? Small businesses, we forget that. You know, on paper it can be very profitable, isn't it? But don't have money in the bank. Money is owned by debtors, money is owned by so and so. So we need to train people that look, generate cash flows. And you'll be surprised how much business you find along the way. You start with an idea, you end up with 20 ideas. The whole trick is to just begin. That's what I always tell people. Just begin. If we look at our friend Strive Masio, when he started, all he was thinking about was cell phones and people making calls. Look where he is now. He's so diversified, isn't it? You know, and all these are not his inventions. These are people who have invented these things, and all he's done is just suited them to this market. The EcoCash one, it wasn't him. That's from Kenya, eh? Yeah, that's from Kenya, you know. The Call Me Back from somebody else. The prepaid was a concept from someone else. When everyone else was doing the contract, he did the prepaid. Now he's done the networking, you know, he's done that cable from Cape to Cairo and things like that, liquid. He's done that, and now he's got other things he's also doing. Opportunities will come, you know. And there's nothing people can do. Right now, there's nothing people can do. With this thing here, all the information, this is now a tool. Not a gadget, it's a tool. You know, with as long as you've got a phone and you've got data, all this information is at your fingertips. anything you want to do, you can do it there. In the old days, we had to rush around and do this and do this. Now information is there. And like I say, I never turned down any business opportunity. I was explaining, said, I can learn, you know. I taught myself how to do mining. Don't have any qualifications in mining, but I know all about mining. I trained myself on solar. Now I'm an expert. I design, I install, I do everything. But I just learned from other people, from the internet. Agriculture, I was born and bred in Highfield. Never went to a farm or a kumusha. But now I know a lot about farming. You can always learn. The capacity to learn is always there. And the capacity to be able to impact it on other people is very important. If someone is receptive, we need to share information. This is one of the biggest disappointments of our people as Africans. Look, we're not saying they are bad people, but we don't want to see other Africans doing well. If you've got a business idea, first thing I want to do is to rush and copy it and do exactly what you're doing, you know. But it's better to come to you and say, how did you come with this idea? How did you develop it? We pull each other up, but we are busy pulling each other down. We don't help each other. Look at the Indian community. They help each other. They build each other. They support business. Money is circulated within there. You know, they can lend each other money without interest. They do that. They bring their relatives from Kumusha. Yeah? And they say, you work in my business for 5 years, no pay. And at the end of 5 years, I'll set you up in business. They do that because they support each other. The guy, one of the richest guys in the UK, an Indian guy, arrived in the UK with 200 pounds. 200 pounds. But because of their network, the Jewish people are very good at that. The Indians are very good at that. Us blacks, I don't want to see you driving a better car than me. We with that mentality of saying, look, I must always be the one who's okay. For me, from my Christian background, money is just a tool. And when you make money, you're just there to bless others. How many cars can I drive at the same time? How many watches can I wear at the same time? And, you know, at the end of the day, money is just it's a game, the biggest game in town. But for us here, we need to be doing this, we need to be showing off, we need to be doing this. 90% of the people, we're not even helping our people. Charity begins at home, our relatives, our friends, people who are destitute. We can't do that. Why can't we help each other as a nation? Pull each other up. This is why we're saying we want to take all these raw people and bring them along the chain with us. Very soon people will be moving the other way. Why should you stay in town in a one room? When you can go home and build your own nice house, you put solar, you put your borehole, the network is there, you can phone, you can do everything, no rent, you can grow your own crops, they are healthier. That's the way we're looking at it. So that's like our vision of where we are. We want to help people to help themselves. We can't leave it to government. Government has got too many responsibilities. Let's empower our people. Once those people are empowered, we'll see self-determination. We need a complete mindset change, a big paradigm shift. We can still do a lot for the country. And we are endowed with a country which has got a lot of resources. I'm shocked at the resources that Zimbabwe has got, which people are not even aware of. We have second largest reserves of chrome and platinum in the world. We are the 6th largest reserves of lithium in the world. And you know the story with lithium. Batteries. Everything is going to go into batteries, electric cars. It's a huge market. But are we making any noise about it? We are sitting here. Now the first plant to the mine to be done, it's owned by foreigners. We are the ones who should be owning these things. But for some reason or another, we don't want it. We don't want partnerships. We don't want to work with others. I was reading an article from Alik Dangote. Staple food for Nigeria is rice. They were importing 90% of the rice. So he went to government and said, guys, I need land. Give me land at a cheap price. They gave him land. Now they import 10% of the rice. Now just imagine how much forex you are saving. So the resources are there, the land is there. What people want to know is just to know how do we develop this land. So this land, I mean, how much land do we have here? It's too much land. You look at countries like Zambia. Zambia is about 2-3 times our size. Too much land, same population in Zimbabwe. There's too much land. But we all don't want to go and live on the land. We've been schooled that you need to go to work, get a degree, get a nice office job and do this, which is well and good. But all that should be preparing you for something that you can live for your kids. For the business, you can live for your kids. Money, if you live for your kids, they will squander it after a year or two. But the business, look at the companies like Lever Brothers. Done it 150 years now. They're still going. You know, they're still going because they've set up a company. We don't believe in setting up business. Business doesn't need me to run it. I can put a manager and run it. Strive Masu hasn't been here in 20 years. But this business is the biggest here. So we're busy building mansions. Nice and good. Mansions are good, but go along Harare Drive there in Pomono. Mansions on this side. Our white friends are building factories and things. They're living things with their kids. You know, that mansion, how do you live with it? Just you and your wife, the kids are gone. How do you maintain it? You know, it's nice to have a nice house. But you can't be building a bigger house when you're getting old. It's the opposite, isn't it? You should be downsizing. Have a business which makes sure that when you retire, you've got the income. Your children, you've got someone to work. Your children's children, you've got someone to work. That's the whole concept. That's where we are saying, that's where the empowerment comes. Then you have self-determination. No one can dictate to you. Right now, people dictate to us. The price of meal is so much. Yeah? Because we don't have the determination. Let's be in charge of our destiny. Let's be in charge of our destiny.